Well, he's stolen so many of their players. Let's hope we can steal 3 points from them on the weekend, but I'll admit, not that confident. What's up, guys, and welcome to the Blues and Stripes. So today we're looking ahead to tomorrow's game against Brighton, and it's been a pretty rough week and a half ever since the Brentford draw. Things have just gotten consistently worse. We got a disappointing performance against Bayern, which a loss is not the worst thing in the world since they are a good team, but the performance just wasn't good enough, and then we go into the weekend, get beat by a terrible Man U side, and then we go to midweek and we get outperformed by a League One side for the first half. So needless to say, confidence is not high with Maresca, with the team at the moment. Throw on top of that 2 of our defenders are now injured. Palmer's now injured. Yeah, things are looking pretty bleak, and once again, the transfer team is going to come under a lot of criticism for not signing another defender in the summer. But with Tosin and Fofana out, that means there's a good chance Achimpong does make his way back into the lineup now. But there are 2 articles that popped up on the Chelsea app that I did find kind of funny. First one was talking about the build up to this, the team news, and they talk about how Tosin and Fofana are both out injured. And so when I read that, I'm thinking, okay, well, I mean, we have to turn to Achimpong now, right? Maresca can't let his feelings get in the way of the fact that he doesn't have any other options. But then the next paragraph says, but Maresca will be bolstered by the fact that Lavia and Badiashile could be in contention for this weekend. And I'm just thinking, if Maresca plays Badiashile over Achimpong, you know there's a problem. You know he's lost his mind. You know he's being a selfish little prick who's letting his feelings get in the way of choosing the best possible 11 for the match. But the other article I saw was Maresca's comments about Achimpong saying that he does still trust him. No, you don't. You haven't played him since the first match, so clearly you prefer to have Chalobah, Tosin, or Fofana in there over Achimpong, which is stupid as hell. Again, I understand Chalobah and Tosin because I think they are quality defenders. They're in a bad run of form right now, but they are quality, so I can understand choosing them over the inexperienced Achimpong. But Fofana is not quality. He's proven it time and time again. So saying that he can't get in the team over Fofana, to me, shows a lack of knowledge of the best defenders that you have. He doesn't understand what a good defender is if he really thinks Fofana is a better option than Achimpong. But anyways, getting into the lineup, first of all, it will be Sanchez in goal. Jorgensen, like I said, had a chance to impress against Lincoln and did the exact opposite. So Sanchez returns to his place. Let's just hope that bonehead decision he made against Man U last weekend is his one bonehead decision for the next few months at least. But I do know Brighton was one of his bonehead moments last season, since it's his former club too, so there's a chance he could do something stupid this weekend as well. But getting into defense, my choices: James, Chalobah, Achimpong, Cucurella. I think that is our best defense right now. It's not great, but it's got enough quality to be solid. As far as what I expect Maresca to pick, who knows? Could be Gusto, Chalobah, Badiashile, and Cucurella. I'm assuming Chalobah and Cucurella start, because really there's no other reason to not start them unless they're injured. But yeah, he could pick Badiashile if he's fit, just because he doesn't want to pick Achimpong for some reason. But getting into the midfield, my choice is going to be Caicedo and Santos. Those 2 seem to be our best midfield options at the moment because Fernandez has lost his mind. But I expect it'll be Caicedo and Fernandez, especially because Maresca came out and said some really nice things about Fernandez, saying that he's a vital choice in the midfield, talking about all the different things he can do in there and how that's so useful to us as a team, which tells me he's playing favorites. So it's going to be Caicedo and Fernandez, despite the fact that Santos is better form right now than Fernandez. So good for Fernandez that the coach likes him. Into the front 4 with no Palmer. It's going to be kind of an interesting one to see how the front 4 is going to set up. Personally, my choice would be Neto on the right, Estevao in the center, George on the left, and then Pedro up top. Because for me right now, Gittins and Garnacho are not choices that we can rely on. Gittins has not started well. Garnacho showed in the midweek he can't even do it against the League One side, so I'm not relying on either of them. And I do feel like George, while his quality on the ball could use some improvement, I think he's been working really hard off the ball. He's been a very effective player for us in that sense. So I would like to see him get a little bit more time, especially playing in his natural position because he's not a striker. But with no Palmer, I think Estevao is our next best option in the center. I would also be okay because I know some people have talked about how João Pedro looks better as a 10. I still personally think he's better as a striker if there's a 10 that will run in behind him. But I would not mind if we went Neto and Estevao on the left and right, and then Pedro as the 10 and Mark Guiu up top. I think that would be a fine one too. We've not seen any of Guiu, so this might be his chance to finally play. But those are my 2 options. I think the one with George on the left and Pedro up top is my first choice. But as far as what Maresca is going to do, I'm expecting we'll probably either see Gittins or Garnacho on the left, probably Neto on the right, Estevao in the middle, and then Pedro up top. But if he doesn't trust Gittins or Garnacho on the left, I expect it'll probably be Estevao on the right, Neto on the left, Pedro at the 10, and Tyreek George up top, because he likes to do that stupid stuff. For some reason, he likes to play players out of position. Who knows why? But looking at this one, it's a home match, so I feel like we do have a slight advantage here. But the way we've been playing, I'm not confident at all going into this one. It feels like Maresca's tactics are at their stale worst at the moment. Teams have figured out how to play against us again. We don't have any other answers, so we're just doing the same thing every match. We're dropping points because of it. So it feels like we've already hit that period of the season like we did over the winter months last season, where we're just not going to find an answer. Teams are figuring it out and we're not, and so I expect we're going to drop points here. I don't think it'll be a loss. I'm expecting a draw, probably 2-2, because I'm assuming we'll concede a couple. But I do feel like Maresca is getting exposed for his lack of ideas and his lack of adaptability, especially in a league as difficult as the Premier League. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to figure out solutions, especially when you have so many games coming quick and fast. But as I said, and I even said this on a Facebook post, which got a ton of people enraged because apparently it's not Maresca, it's clearly the players aren't good enough. But the fact of the matter is, we've only seen Maresca be successful in 2 tournaments. One was a super easy one. As many people want to say the Conference League was not an easy tournament. We won with Dewsbury Hall and Badiashile and Jorgensen on the pitch. I think it was an easy tournament. And then the Club World Cup, where he only had to focus on that one tournament. He didn't have to focus on any outside troubles. He didn't have to focus on the league and the tournament and another tournament. It was just the Club World Cup. We're seeing right now, he can't focus on the league and the Champions League and the Carabao Cup. He can't focus on all of that because he's not good enough to do it. So that's what I mean by Maresca is going to get exposed. He's not good enough to manage a club like Chelsea that's going to be in so many different competitions. The problem is I don't know when that's going to tell. I don't know when it's finally going to be enough, because the success of the Club World Cup is going to keep him in the job for a while. So I don't know if it's going to take us being in and around the relegation zone for the board to finally step in and say, all right, enough is enough, or if it's going to be the next couple of years of finishing either just outside or just inside the top 4 with no silverware for the board to finally go, all right, you know what, maybe you're not the guy for the job. But whatever the case, going into this weekend, like I said, I am not really excited or expecting much from it. So those are my thoughts, though. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What are you expecting this weekend? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea previews, reviews, and talks. And until next time, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.